Oh, actually, I'm informed. I jumped some. We deal with law enforcement at 68. I was ahead of myself. We deal with Mr. Mkhwanazi, if you recall, General, in the context of dealing with the executive. You start that part at page 61, paragraph 187, where you deal with Minister Mkhwanazi. You then lead on to your WhatsApp conversations with Mr. Mkhwanazi. And I'm saying that entire conversation we park for today, and we move on to your next issue, which is now dealing with law enforcement agencies, starting from page 68, and we will come back to the issue of Mr. Mkhwanazi tomorrow. Would that work?
That's correct.
Okay. Chair, thank you for that indulgence. We will obtain the further documents from the General and update your files accordingly. Thank you. General, then let's turn to page 68 of your statement. And from page 68 to page 75, you deal with law enforcement agencies, and you reference two instances under that heading. In the order that you have dealt with them, could you please engage with the issues, starting from paragraph 214?
Commissioners, as I said when I started yesterday, what I will present before this commission, it's an information that I have a personal knowledge of, which in the main was the political clearance task team that I've already addressed. And some of the things I'm going to be presenting here, it's an information that was presented to me by the different disciplines in the police as they are engaging on the work that they do. Some of that information is what you're going to begin to see here, which information that will be confirmed by the very same people that were briefing me when they come before this commission with that evidence. For instance, I will talk about a report that is available, which I have seen, but I might not display it here. They are going to come with that report and show it to the commission, if that is okay. I just want to make sure the commission understand, so that as when I talk, it mustn't be the question of where is the evidence of this you're talking about. It could be the information that I'm told during the course of work, as in my capacity as a senior officer. Mind you, commissioners, that the 10 members that are members of the political killings task team are still in Gauteng, part of GCI Ops. And I am having this conversation with the leader of this GCI Ops, Jaro Kumar, in order to get status in terms of the duration of this operation. And that's when I'm getting the extent of the work that they have before them that they must still do in Gauteng. So one of those, as we are indicating how this criminality or the syndicates are operating, getting the individuals that are within the political setup, as well as business that we're going to talk about later, maybe tomorrow. And there's also police officers that are part of this, or law enforcement officers. I might not talk about many examples that are out there. There are many cases. I'm going to cite few. So one of them is this, what is sitting at 214, where I was indicating that the Mr. Matlala, Ket Matlala, Vusmus Ket Matlala, is one fellow that has been enjoying too much privilege from the law enforcement. And the typical example is that one of, or at least few of his vehicles, not talking about the number, but it's a couple of them, 4 or 5, the number will be confirmed through the report. His personal vehicles were registered by the Deputy Chief of Police at Guruleni, that is Major General Mkhwanazi. He facilitated the registration of these Mr. Mahlala's vehicles under the municipality as if they are municipality official vehicles, utilizing the funds from the municipality of Ekurhuleni. So the vehicles then belong on record, when you test them on the system, they reflect as if they belong to municipality. It did not end there, commissioners. He took these vehicles and he caused the municipality to take the blue lights that belongs to municipality. The blue lights are supposed to be for the law enforcement vehicles within municipality, and he fitted those blue lights in these vehicles. And these vehicles were then given to Mr. Ket Matlala. I must indicate, in terms of the Traffic Act, the only authorized bodies to be able to drive with blue light on the streets are law enforcement, which would include SAPS, the Metro Police, Traffic Police, as well as the military police of the defense. They are the only one authorized by law to make use of these blue lights. And even the utilization of the blue light is somehow regulated, that you cannot just willy-nilly use a blue light. So it's an emergency light, it's a warning light. But this was not only done by Matlala privately to the service provider, but it was done by law enforcement of Ekurhuleni. And to confirm this, there is a report that is available, because this complaint comes from the chief of this municipality. When he registered the complaint against this, told, according to his words, he was suspended because the principal at municipality did not want him to pursue this investigation against his junior. So he provided this information, and he brought this to the attention of his executive in municipality, city manager. It will appear that not much was done to the person that was responsible for this, despite the fact that the law was broken. So that's what I thought I must just indicate, covering mass lights starting from 214 up until the next page, where I'm indicating that the complaint from the chief of Metro Police at Ekurhuleni ended with IPID, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, that are charged with the responsibility of investigating the criminality that is caused by the police in the line of their work. The IPID conducted this investigation, and there's a report that the IPID produced to Ekurhuleni, a report that makes recommendations to the executive of Ekurhuleni for them to take action against this Major General Mkhwanazi, who is a deputy chief responsible for operations at Ekurhuleni.
That I think deals with
the
issue of Ekurhuleni and the blue lights.
Yes, right. And that up to 219.
Then you introduce a new
on my statement
issue there, starting from paragraph 220.
Yes. I must indicate, commissioners, that report of IPID is classified. So part of it will need to be declassified so that the commissioner will have an insight on it.
And before then you move on, all the declassified documents that have been identified in the witness statements have been listed, and we are seeking the declassification thereof. And as soon as that is obtained, we shall make available then these supporting IPID reports. Thank you.
On paragraph 220 onward, commissioners, I wanted to draw your attention to, or demonstrate before this commission, that there is other involvement of police officers. An example that I'm putting here is one police officer from Johannesburg Metro. This police officer is a very close associate of the arrested Mr. Kati Somolefe. On the 5th of February, 2025, this Metro Police officer, Johannes Mahatle, who works at JMPD, he deposited a statement, an affidavit, during the investigation that was conducted by GCI Ops following the arrest of Mr. Molefe, which happened on the 6th of December last year. So this is him explaining in his own affidavit that he deposited. The reason for the team to approach him and ask him to deposit an affidavit is because of his presence during the arrest of Katiso Molefe and the role that he played on that day. I'm going to quote on what he says on his affidavit, Commissioner, on page 7222 on my statement. In this affidavit, Officer Mkhwanazi states that he became acquainted with Warrant Officer Michael Puletau, a former member of the South African Police Detective Branch, Johannesburg Central, who is an accused with Mr. Molefe in the Vereeniging murder case of Mr. Swart as a fellow police officer during 2008. So it is him who's admitting that he's close friends with both of the suspects on the Vereeniging case. Through him, that is the detective, he was introduced to Mr. Katiso Molefe, with whom he struck a close relationship over time, and they established direct contact. He says, I understand that Warrant Officer Tau resigned from the service after he was arrested and charged for murder of Mr. Swart. What he stated under oath, Commissioners, is that on the 6th of December, the day where Mr. Molefe was arrested, he reported on duty, and while he's on duty, he received a phone call from Mr. Molefe, who was complaining about a suspicious vehicle that was parked on the street next to his house. And he immediately proceeded to Molefe's residence. And he fetched Mr. Molefe, and they drove to the vehicle that Molefe was suspended, which means he transported Mr. Molefe with his own vehicles, not knowing whether it's a state vehicle he was using, or municipality vehicle, or his private vehicle. It doesn't indicate it. But he fetched Molefe, and he drove with Molefe to the suspected vehicle. And he took note of the car's registration number. And with the use of the ACPS system available to him, the system that he has an access to, he then used that to check the registration number of this vehicle in order to establish who is the owner of the vehicle. He then got out of the car and he approached the occupant of the vehicle and introduced himself. And thereafter, he went back into his vehicle, and then he informed Mr. Molefe that the vehicle is a police vehicle. And after that, they drove back with Mr. Molefe, and he dropped him off at his home, and he went on with his patrols. And then he says, on the very same day, later, Mr. Molefe's son, Neo, informed him that Mr. Molefe was arrested on the same matter that Officer Tau was arrested on, which is a Vereeniging case. So as I said, Commissioners, that the team that is investigating, that took this statement from him, they will come before this commission and they will explain in details about the role of this member. But my problem I have with him, other than knowing the person, but start doing the favors of the person, that becomes a problem. In that he then go and test the vehicle to establish the ownership, and he goes and brief his friend or his associate to say, oh, this is a police vehicle, so don't worry about it. That is the first concern that we have with regard to this officer. So which means he uses his advantage position of being a traffic police officer to advance the interest of Mr. Kati Somlief. There are many other things that are contained on the statement, and also to confirm, Commissioner, whether on the day was he on duty or not, officially, that he claimed he was on duty for. The team that is going to come will come and explain further to the Commissioner that what have they discovered, whether was this man actually on duty on the day when he claims that he was on duty or he was not on duty. He might have perhaps provided the wrong information. And that is as far as I want to leave in as far as the Metropolis is concerned.
Thank you, General.
Sorry, before you leave that, General, paragraph 228 of your statement.
Yeah, Commissioner, if I may read this one on the record, where it says that he also renewed licenses for vehicles at Mr. Molife's request, for which he will receive gratification. So Mr. Molefe will ask him to register the vehicles, and he will do that, and of course, there will be a reward coming from Mr. Molefe in that regard. So the affidavit that he wrote, we attached it here. Although it's handwritten, I hope the Commissioner will be able to see as marked MK18 on the annexures of this individual. So we want to demonstrate, Commissioners, that a police officer of his status is indeed conducting himself in an unprofessional manner, and the unlawful conduct of abusing the state resources as well as his position as a police officer in order to benefit his friends, in this case, Mr. Molefe, is what makes us reach a conclusion that these are some of police officers within the Metropolis that are playing part to supporting the work or the illegal activities that is done by some criminals out there. So this is basically where I'm going to end with regard to the two. I must indicate, as I said, there are many other law enforcement officials that I did not necessarily include in the statement. Commissioners, you will recall I had mentioned during the press briefing, and it is a public knowledge already, that in one instance, Mr. Ket Matlala was found with a cell phone inside prison, inside the correctional facilities. For obvious, he was not supposed to be in possession of such, and such a cell phone was facilitated by individuals within correctional service to get to him because they have access to it. But I must thank the Commissioner of Correctional Services, because on the day when we addressed the nation on the 6th of July, the Commissioner called me because after watching the address, he felt that he must send officials, the credible correctional service officials, to go and inspect this detained person, Ket Matlala, and to go and inspect his cell and search him. It is when they did that, on the direction of the Commissioner of Correctional Service, that they found the cell phone. So the Commissioner then contacted me directly, and he said he himself, as a senior officer within the criminal justice system, within law enforcement, he doesn't have much trust on what's happening now in this area. And he says, sure, for sure, someone brought in this cell phone and facilitated for this cell phone to get to the suspect or the detained person inside. And I must make sure that I send someone I trust to go and fetch and collect this cell phone. So that's when the team, GCI Ops team, went to correctional facility and they collected that cell phone from Mr. Ket Matlala. And I'm not going to get into the details then what was extracted on the phone, but the mere fact that he had the phone inside the correctional facility, it then implicates some officials within the system. But fortunately, it's the same department with the credible officials that are working within the system, supported by the commissioner that help us to retrieve that form.
Thank you. Yeah, please, Chair.
The affidavit of Mr. Johannes Mkhwanazi, it's relatively legible, but
Yes, there.
hoping that it's not
Transcription is
too
underway.
much of a, can we have a typed version?
Yes,
please?
transcription is underway, and that is why in his statement he quotes so extensively from it. It was appreciating the fact that it is in hand.
Yes.
And just to make things easier for the commissioners, he quoted extensively as he did. But transcription is underway and being retyped, and it shall be amended as annexed as MK 18-1, but retaining the original handwritten copy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, General. That deals with your examples around law enforcement agencies. From page 72, then you started a new topic now regarding what you call business people. Would you like to lead your evidence on that? For the moment, I would request, insofar as business people are concerned, you take it to page 74 at paragraph 241. Because from 238, you once again bring in Mr. Mkhwanazi. I am going to request that you stop before you get to Mr. Mkhwanazi, and we will deal with that aspect of your statement tomorrow when we deal with the whole Mr. Mkhwanazi related testimony. Do you understand?
If I understand, Commissioner, it will mean I will have to end at 239
At 237.
or 237.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
No, sorry, my apologies. I think you are correct.
239.
I misread that. 239.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, business people, this information that I'm highlighting here, it's an extract from the communication between different people that are subject to the investigation by the GCI Ops. And some of these communications are coming from cell phones of the people that are already arrested. And some of them are coming from the people that, where the team is conducting cordon and searches and the likes, and they extract this information. And in some instances, they will probably get information from an approved download in terms of Section 205 of the criminal procedure to authorize the downloading of information from different service providers. So this will, of course, then be a direct communication between people, and in some instances, communication from the third party that is going to be presented. There is a gentleman, according to the records that we have, that the team will come and display further, that is a businessman in Northwest, Mr. Suleiman Karim. Mr. Suleiman Karim, as a businessman in Northwest, maintains a direct communication with the arrested person, Vusmuz Madlanga. And in their communication, it involves the contract that Madlanga has with the police service, which was a 360 million rand contract I spoke about during the press briefing. And in these two of them are having, Madlanga is approaching him to help him engage with the minister in order to stop the cancellation of his contract. And this Mr. Suleiman Karim, of course, commits to do that because he has this relationship with the minister. And as I say, I don't want to dive deeper into the other conversations or activities that are taking place in that communication between the two. However, the intention here to display is to show that there is this gentleman that is part of the movement of money and the coordinator between Mr. Madlanga and the minister, and is part of the investigation. That's why I'm not going to go deeper into explaining how the movement of funds and the likes are happening. But it's just to flag him as an enabler to facilitate the interest of the minister as well as the relationship with Ket Madlanga.
Okay.
On the following page 234, I'm just showing the extra.
Sorry, General. General, can I just ask for completeness of my understanding? And if you can't answer it for the reasons that you have given, please feel free to say that. Is Mr. Karim in any way involved in the contract? Is he part to the contract between Madlanga and the SAPS?
No, it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. You wanted to move on to paragraph 234, not page 234, paragraph 234, General.
Yes, paragraph 234. This is a communication between Mr. Ket Madlanga and his business partner, Mr. Mike van Wyk. I must say here that we are not necessarily blaming Mr. van Wyk of anything, but we are just displaying the level that Ket Madlanga has an interest of what's happening in the police, that he even communicates with his business partners. So the text that is extracted from Mr. Madlanga's phone as he was communicating with Mr. van Wyk, it reads as follows. Breaking news. NPA ID guns for National Police Rock Unit. The NPA Investigative Directorate ID raids National Police Commissioner Fanny Masimula and National Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Khumalo's office after serving them with notices of arrest. This comes after an investigation lodged by the Parliament Portfolio Committee. The National Police Commissioner General Masimula appeared weak and shaken when confronted by the ID. The ID had served him with arrest notice for 5 senior officers within Crime Intelligence Division, including its national head, General Khumalo. When serving the arrest notices, the National Commissioner asked the ID for indemnity from prosecution if he cooperates with them. An investigator states, the National Commissioner was very nervous and appeared to be shaking. He then blamed the collapse of crime intelligence at the hands of General Khumalo and KZN Provincial Commissioner Mkhwanazi developing. So this is just but one of the extracts. This is an article that was carried in media. Commissioners, you're going to understand later when you show you the picture that as part of the concerted effort to damage the reputation of this counterintelligence investigation operation is to feed the media with false information so that they create doubt about the officials that are working within that investigation team. So they're a typical example of what Ket Madlanga sends to his associate. But to prove that his associate does not apprehend what is going on here, his response says, not good. A logic tells you that a story like this of the top management of the police being investigated, it can't be good. That is his expression, Mr. van Wyk. But then the response from Madlanga says, it's actually good, my person. It's actually good. My person is going to be a national commissioner now. So Van Wyk does not understand where is Madlanga going with this. That's why he's an expression as an ordinary citizen to say, it can't be good that a national commissioner is painted like this. But Madlanga says, no, actually, this is a good thing because my person is going to be the national commissioner now. This is the picture, commissioners, that begins to emerge as we investigate. We know already that there is stories out there in the media that the national commission is going to be arrested by IDEC. They are mentioning IDEC here. That's why I'm demonstrating, as we're going to demonstrate further, that this very good entity that was established after the Zondo Commission, how it has been weaponized by the criminal syndicates that are operating within the police in cahoot with those outside, and largely involve members of crime intelligence. But we'll demonstrate that later, commissioners.
Thank you, General Mkhwanazi. Commissioners,
Can I just confirm? I think MK19
Yes.
is the extract of what you have quoted in the body
That's correct.
of the statement. Is this extract what was published in the media, or this is Mr. Madlanga himself just typing out?
It is an extract from the media that was published from the media that he copied and he posted on its WhatsApp chat.
Thank you.
and thank you,
you, Mr.
Commissioner Baloi, that I was going to address that annexure MK19 as well. And based on the testimony of General Mkhwanazi, we read it from the bottom up. The conversation starts at the bottom entry and ends the timestamps to the left. Well, that 326, Chair, page 326. That's why it's marked. It's marked as an annexure, Commissioner. The point we're making, Chair, is that conversation is what General Mkhwanazi just read out, and he's reproduced it at page 73. But if one had to go to that particular annexure, please read from the bottom and make your way up to the page. That's the order of the conversation. Thank you, General. I had requested that there are some other matters you deal with.
Perhaps before you move on,
Yes.
General, if you do have the information, I know you are relying on others on this, but if you are able to, can you please explain the proximity between the minister and Mr. Karim, which would have caused Mr. Madlanga to ask Mr. Karim to intercede between him, Mr. Madlanga, and the minister, so that the contract is not cancelled.
Commissioner, the information will come with an investigation team as they are doing the phone linkages, the communication between the two, and many other means that they'll be able to see how are they related, the two, and to what extent. But what we know from the extracts that I've seen is that there is a communication between himself and the minister. That's why Madlanga approaches him to get to the minister, because he's aware that he has that close proximity to the minister, beside the one, Brian Mkhwanazi, that we're going to talk about later.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I was stepping off the topic, but we'll take a question.
No, you promised the witness that he can speak up to 239. There's 238 and 239.
It's a slightly different topic. We are stepping off from the correspondence between Mr. Van Wyk and Mr. Madlanga. Then overleaf at page 74, you speak of yet another person. So that's the third person within the business sector. But as we did point out, General, we'll just deal with what's set out in paragraph 238 and 239. And the rest we will revisit tomorrow when we deal with Mr. Mkhwanazi.
Commissioners, I must first maybe also apologize the typo here on 238 in bracket. It's supposed to be Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, not Crime Intelligence. my mistake on this one. There's been a lot that one was doing. That's why some of the mistake will have crept in. So as we preface that with DPCI as an acronym, it actually stands for Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. And the acronym is supposed to read DPCI. So what we see here on the 11th of February 2025 is a conversation between Mr. Rafadi with Mr. Madlanga regarding the publication of the advertisement of a post of DPCI. The national head of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation was to be going on retirement at the beginning of this financial year in May. And as such, the process of filling the post started. So the post was advertised in February with the intention of having gone through the interviews and find a candidate that is suitable that can be confirmed the appointment by Parliament before he takes over the position. In this conversation, when Mr. Rafadi sends Madlanga this advert, Mr. Madlanga responded to the advert, and his response was, and I quote, "They gave it to Gerald Spear already." So this was on advertisement. And the advertisement is sent by Mr. Rafadi to Madlanga. And Madlanga's response to Mr. Rafadi is that they gave it to Gerald Spear already. So this is, Commissioners, a communication that happens preceding even the panel coming together to sit and assess the applicants and conduct interviews and so forth. And this is what Madlanga is saying. We know that the filling of the vacancies of DPCI head, it's a responsibility of the Minister of Police. So perhaps Mr. Madlanga knew something we did not know. We know that the filling of the vacancy of the entity DPCI is an entity that is charged with the investigation of serious crime in our country, including organized crime, commercial crime, and so forth. So a person who's then charged with the responsibility of managing this entity, he must be beyond reproach. And for this name to be published by people who are currently in custody, it made us to realize the extent of the influence that these people who are investigating have over either the executive and the top structure of the South African Police Service. That's where we submit. I'm going to end this one there because the next one talks about Mr. Mkhwanazi that we had said we're going to engage on it later.
Can I just...
Sorry, Advocacy Law.
Yeah, yes,
do we
yes,
have an
Commissioner.
annexure that accompanies?
No, that doesn't have an annexure. That doesn't have an annexure.
So where do we get that date of 11 February 2025?
The witness will explain.
Commissioners, as I said, the information that is in my disposal, some of the information I was briefed and I got to see. This is but one of the communication or extraction that the team has made when they were conducting investigation, that when the team appears here before the commission, will be able to present before the commission so you can see as they annex on their statements. There are many things that I did not annex on my statement that are in the position of the team as they are carrying out the investigation on these matters. That's why I said earlier, while we are busy with the commission, the investigation continues. We might flag things here in the commission, but it doesn't stop the investigation. Yes, there was a frustration of the investigation, which still is there as we are having some of these members involved in undergoing court cases, but the members are still continuing with the investigation. So this information will be presented to the commission when the members arrive.
I had two questions for on that score, General. You deal with this aspect under the heading business people. My question is, and because that part of your statement doesn't indicate who's Mr. Rafadi. You mention him here, about him sending the published advertisement to Mr. Matlala, but you don't explain who Mr. Rafadi is.
Yeah, Commissioner, I did not want to put the full details of Mr. Rafadi avoiding litigations,
Okay.
but in camera, the details will be provided so that the Commission get to know who the person is, but he is a business person.
Okay. I'm sure the Commission will accept that. My second question is, do you know whether or not that advertised post was filled of the DPCI?
No, the post has not been filled to date. There's an acting head of DPCI. Although I am informed, and I don't want to disclose the source, but the panel did sit and they did go through the applications that were presented, and some people that were extracted from those that have applied, their files were moved to crime intelligence for crime intelligence to conduct vetting on them. And that is as far as I know, but the process has not been finalized because it will only be finalized when it gets to Parliament. What then happened after this advert is that post was withdrawn. And looks like they are starting a new process again to fill this vacancy.
Noted. Thank you. Thank you.
But I must maybe, I know it's not my position, perhaps not on the statement, just to indicate, I do not know the reasons for the withdrawal of the post. But it is my conclusion when I see the extract of Mr. Matlala that perhaps the person is talking about might not meet the requirement because DPCI's post to be filled, you must be able to serve 7 years. So if you are not able to serve 7 years, you cannot be appointed into that position. I'm not saying that is a reason, but I'm reliably informed that that influence partly to why this post could not be filled.
Noted. Thank you, General. That, because we are jumping that portion dealing with Mr. Mkhwanazi, that would lead us to the next sub-item, which is dealing now with political interference.
I note that the time now is
Yes.
5 to 4. Do we want to start that new topic now?
It won't be done in 5 minutes, so
Should
if it's
we
more comfortable,
not rather start tomorrow then?
we're happy to, Chair.
All right.
Thank you.
But otherwise, if you wanted to proceed...
No.
We will
stand down.
adjourn at this stage and we'll resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's adjourn.